Good morning. Welcome to morning meeting. So here's what's on my mind this morning. I was listening to an episode of the Daily Stoic, which, by the way, I don't necessarily listen in order to that. And today I was listening, and it was about counting your blessings, which is always a good reminder from my perspective. I like to think about what I'm grateful for, and I tend to do that every day, but it's always good to have another reminder to do it. So, like this morning, right away in the morning, typically when I do it, I forgot to do it. So, like I said, good reminder. So, I'm counting my blessings today. One of the things I'm very thankful for today is that my car is supposed to be repaired and ready to go. So, I should be able to pick up my car. And I'm thankful for that for a few reasons. And one of them is that when I'm driving the truck that I'm in right now, this thing's a gas hog. Oh my goodness. It's a rough ride. This is a great truck. My husband did an amazing job rebuilding this truck. But it's a gas hog. So I prefer to drive the car that doesn't eat up as much gas. And so I'm thankful that I can have my car back and not worry about that as much. On the flip side, I'm thankful that I had this truck to be able to drive, right? Thank goodness it was available for me to drive while my other car was getting repaired. Now, our insurance would have paid for a rental car, but I didn't want to do that. We live in outside of a smaller community. There's no rental car places here. I would have had to go to the city to rent a car there. So thankful I have that ability. Also thankful that I didn't need to do that, right? So there's all kinds of things to be thankful for. I'll give you an example. I used to really curse my hair, my curls, lots of curls, right? And the frizziness and and all of that. And then many moons ago, I realized, man, having curly hair, it's a lot easier. Having curly hair and having it longer, that's a lot easier. And so I became very appreciative of the fact that, well, it's curly and it's going to do what it's going to do. And now I appreciate the fact that it does what it's going to do. And I don't try and fight that thing. Now, that may seem like a simple thing, but people get caught up in all sorts of things like that. How they look, how other people look, blah, blah, yada, yada. But I'm thankful for the fact that these coils that I have are just doing their coily duty, basically. So you can be thankful and count your blessings about all sorts of things. It could be something like your hair, it could be a car, it could be anything. It could be something someone did for you and you found out about it later. I'll give you an example. This actually was phenomenal when I found out about it because I found out way after the fact. So migraines run in my family on the mother's side. So I have them. I've had them since I was about 12 when I had my first one, 12 or 13, I think, when I had my first one. And I have mine pretty much under control. And it's why I became a vegan and then have experimented with different forms of vegetarianism ever since. And so mine are pretty much under control, unless the weather does something wacky or whatever. But I was concerned about our children. And so I raised them to be vegetarians for a long time. And now they're well, my daughter's a pescatarian. My son transitioned and he'll eat meat. But that coupled with stress levels and things like that, his migraines are not under control. She's only had one, thankfully, so far. But his are not under control. And so we're really working to get them under control. And so one of the things that triggers him is the incense that gets burned at Mass. Now, my kids go to a Catholic school. Well, my oldest is in college now, but attend a Catholic school, and so they're required to go to Mass every week as a school student body. And sometimes the incense is burned, not all the time. And so I always put in their notes, hey, this is a trigger. He can't be in there when this is happening, and he can't go back in very easily once it's happened. And so he had our permission to leave the church, and there's an area where he can go and be away from that smell and that trigger. Well, what I didn't know until a couple of years back was that the head priest, decided not to do the incense because apparently he was told about that. And he realized, okay, and it wasn't just because of my son, I'm sure, but it was this aha moment that maybe burning the incense really negatively affects the people in the church, and some people just can't tolerate it. And my son happened to be one of them. So they stopped doing that for those particular instances. And oh my God, that's amazing. I had no idea until someone mentioned it to me. That I was so grateful for that because they wanted him to be able to be part of the Mass. We're not Catholics, but they wanted him to be able to be there and be with everybody and participate. And he just couldn't when that happened because he had to leave or he'd be triggered. And he had low level headaches pretty much all the time, but this would go off the charts. So that's something to be truly grateful for, that someone thought of him and said, well, this is painful for this person. So let's see what we can do to make it less so. So I'm very thankful for that. So count your blessings, every opportunity you get, counting your blessings. And like I said, that Daily Stoic podcast, that was a really good reminder for me today. So what are you thankful for today? Leave a comment. See ya.